you are very low. Which is, no one wants to see the hat. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to today's video. As you saw in the title, today we are doing the books I plan to read in April. So you probably would have seen a sneak peek of my TBR. It's huge. It's highly huge, but I'm hoping these next few long weekends will actually just make me sit and binge read. But anyway, before we get started, please remember to like the video, subscribe, comment down below if you've read any of these books and if you had, what you thought of them. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So the first book I plan to read this month is actually an arc that I need to finish. So there's no way that I'm not going to read it. And it is Unleashed by, I'm going to pronounce this author's surname phonetically because it's M.M. Gargiulo. Wow. Okay. So yeah, it is an Icarus retelling from what I've seen. If I see anything with Greek gods and whatnot, I'm just like, ooh, intrigues my fancy. So it is about Icarus who falls in love with this woman and her life is in danger, and then he goes to the gods to ask them to protect her, but he has to make a deal with them to ensure that she is protected. And everyone knows if you make a deal with the gods, you know, things happen. So yeah, that is, I don't know how this is going to go. I feel like it might be a 3 or 4 star. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so that is the only arc I'm reading this month, and then I'm going to jump into my physical TBR just to do away with a lot of the books that are on my physical TBR shelf. And the first book I think I'm going to tackle, if whatever's on my lip would just stop, is actually a continuation, and it is A Court of Silver Flames. I've been reading it for the last week of March and I just couldn't get this done before the 31st of March, so I'm just going to continue it. Hopefully I will be able to finish it by this weekend, and when you see this video I'll be done with it, hopefully. I don't have much, I have like 40% left, but it's a lot. For those of you who don't know and who don't follow the Okoro series, this is basically about the main character in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, her sister, and the trials and tribulations that she has to go through and how she helps the court essentially save the world. I can't remember much about it, not from what I've read, but like summing it up so that I don't give away spoilers for any of you who want to read the series and are not sure if you want to delve into this. Right, then the next chunker is Ink Death by Cornelia Funk or Funke. Just know that this is the third and final book in the Inkheart trilogy, and this is about a man called Mo and his daughter who can actually read things in books to life. And how the story starts off is that when Maggie was still very tiny, read villains out of a book and he read his wife into a book, and this sparks a whole adventure where Maggie, where she's 11, she meets the characters and her life is in danger. She puts a lot of people's lives in danger, her father does as well, and it's just this wholesome story about a girl who accepts who she is and her father who is trying to accept that she is a lot like him and that he cannot always protect her. The next book I aim to read is part of my 23 books in 2023, and it is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This I've heard great things about, and apparently it helps you out of a reading slump. I don't know. This book is basically about this virtual reality world where you can create your own different life, almost like Second Life, I'm assuming, but this is just virtual reality. It's in the name. Anyway, so when the creator of this world dies, he leaves a hint that there's a large fortune for the person who solves this riddle and finds out the secret to the riddle, and then this person can actually own this world. The main character in this book is determined to solve the riddle, but he faces a lot of trial and tribulations because there is obviously someone else who also wants to solve the riddle and own this world. I've heard great things about this. I'm just not always in the mood to read it. And then the second one is the second installment in this book, and it's Ready Player 2, also by Ernest Cline, obviously. And I think this is just a follow-up. It says days after winning, and I'm not going to read further. So yeah, that is the next 2 books that I plan to read. Looking forward to these. Hopefully I can finish them fast enough. Then I should have picked it up the other way. Here we go. I'm going to pick it up like this. The next series I want to read, 2 of them will be rereads. Sorry, I'm trying to restack them because it's a large stack. And you probably saw what it was in the back, but it's going to fall. The Shadow Me series. By Tahira Mafi. So I'm just gonna hold on up the one, which I know is not going to fall. Okay, so I've spoken a lot about the series. I've read the first book and the first novella in the series, but this is a dystopian world about a girl named Juliet, and essentially when she touches stuff, it dies. And the resistance wants her to be like their weapon, but she refuses because she has too good of a heart, and then she falls in love with someone else and not the resistance's leader, and he's upset about it and they run away, and yeah, it's just it's a whole dystopian thing. I know the first 3 books are counted as a trilogy and then the last 3 books are counted as a set apart trilogy, but I'm just going to read everything. I'm going to read the novellas. My colleague said she read all the books and the last 3 books they were repeats of each other, so I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. I'm planning on doing a vlog specifically just for this. And then the last books I want to tackle, which is essentially probably going to be first on my TBR after Destroyer Unleashed. Don't know where I got that word from. It is the Kelly Armstrong's Women of the Otherworld series, the last 5 books in her series, not counting the novellas. And we first start off with Living with the Dead. And this is about a half demon called Hope, and she is asked to investigate one of her friends' involvement in their boss's murder. And Hope is by day a tabloid writer, so she is just essentially going to try and help prove that this friend of her is innocent. And along with Hope, she has her werewolf boyfriend, who is very creepy in the beginning of the series, but he has grown on me. Actually, he wasn't creepy, he was just weird, but he's funny. He has this witty banter about him, especially with the other werewolves in the series, so that's that. And essentially what happens is that this woman who asked Hope to investigate this whole situation is entangling herself in the supernatural world, and she is only human, and she just opens a world full of darkness. And now Hope is on the verge, and she's like, should I introduce you to the supernatural world, break some rules, or should I try and keep you safe without letting you know anything? And I like Hope. She's a very good character. Like I say, her boyfriend is very funny sometimes, so I'm looking forward to seeing these 2 again. 140. This book was 140 rand. You know how much I paid for 13? 240. Inflation. It sucks. Anyway, so the next book is Frostbitten, and this we go back to the original stories of Elena and her pack, and this is years after where Elena accepts that she is now a werewolf and the nature of being a werewolf, and she's coming to terms with the fact that there are some things that she just cannot control. Also, she thinks, because now she has to investigate a series of deaths in Anchorage. I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah. And she uncovers a very dark secret while in this frozen wasteland, and a secret that she never expected to uncover. And I believe it all links, this whole story links to the last book. So, well done, Kelly Armstrong. Really. It's intriguing. The next one is Waking the Witch, and this is about Savannah Levine. I've mentioned her story before. When we met her, she was just this young 12-year-old daughter from a black witch. She didn't understand her powers, she didn't understand anything, and unfortunately in the book Stolen, her mother is killed, and she is raised by this white witch called Paige Winterbourne. I didn't like her story in the beginning, but she slowly grew on me. Anyway, not the point. So now we're following Savannah years later when she has become a private investigator. Yeah. And she is tasked to investigate a series of 3 very strange deaths of women in a small town in Columbus. So she's investigating these deaths, and she is trying to connect the dots, and she's slowly but surely using her powers to solve the case, but she's also putting herself in danger, let alone the town. So she could become the killer's next target if she doesn't watch out. I'm looking forward to them. Then the next book is Spellbound, and it is the second last book in the Women of the Otherworld series. And this is again about Savannah, and she is trying to come to terms with what she had done to destroy some families in the previous book. While she is doing this, there are some forces that are trying to open the layer for this of the supernatural world so that everyone can know what this is about, and this is putting everyone we have read about in danger. So Savannah has to team up with them to essentially try and save the supernatural world before everything goes down, and that leads us to 30. And in this book, Savannah and the whole group faces off a cult called the Supernatural Liberation Movement, and they, as I've said, are trying to expose supernaturals to the whole world. And this is the finale of the series. This is apparently very brutal, gruesome. I hope a lot of characters still stay alive after this, because if someone like Clay or Yelena dies, I'd be heartbroken. So I'm scared. I'm scared to read this book. I really am. So yeah, that is the plan. I don't want to end the series, but I'll probably revisit the series once in a while because I love this series. And there's also these, wow, I can't touch it, these two novellas that are also about this, and I don't know if it's before or after. Let me just check. Otherworld Chills, I think it's before, I'm not gonna lie. I know, that's going to break my heart. Maybe before I read this book, I am going to read Men of the Otherworld and Otherworld Chills, because if someone dies in 13 and I have to revisit these and know they are going to die, I'm not going to be happy. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So we're going to add this to the TBR as well, because I'm scared and I don't want to let go of some characters. Anyway, the Kelly Armstrong books, I will also be doing a separate vlog, and then I'll just create a playlist where I've read all her books, and then just make it one big playlist where you can just watch my reactions on all her books. Anyway, it's not much. It's 13 books. It's in the name. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a video next week. Bye.